Hello, everyone. So this is the fourth assignment for child growth and development. This is the final pre-recorded video that you will receive in this course. So in this assignment, we will be discussing adolescence, self-esteem, self-efficacy, and also I'm hoping that you will better understand the physical, social, and emotional growth of adolescence. So virtually all societies recognize adolescence as an important transition requiring special attention. In philosophy and literature through the ages, adolescence has been seen as a period of unique peril and promise. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. Industrialization led to increased attention to adolescence because it led to urban youth problems and a need for a more educated workforce. Prolonged education and delayed marriage and childbearing are common in many contemporary societies. Adolescence marks the transition from childhood into adulthood. It is characterized by cognitive, psychosocial, and emotional development. Consequences for young people include increasing reliance on parent for support and the extended period of identity exploration and feelings of being unprepared for the roles and responsibilities of adulthood. So let's take a look at slide 2. Now, in adolescence, changes in the brain interact with experience, knowledge, and social demands and produce rapid cognitive growth. The changes in how adolescents think, reason, and understand can be even more dramatic than their obvious physical changes. This stage of cognitive development marks a movement from the ability to think and reason logically only about concrete, visible events to an ability to also think logically about abstract concepts. According to Piaget, adolescence is marked by the emergence of a capacity for formal operational thinking, for relating sets of relationships to each other. Formal operational thinkers can reason by systematically manipulating variables and can use hypothetical deductive reasoning, judging an argument based on logical form alone. So they can deal with ideas, concepts, and abstract theories. However, it takes time for confidence to build with using these newly acquired skills, and they may make mistakes in judgment. Learning through success and failure is part of the challenge of the learning process for the adolescent. Adolescents are egocentric. They can become self-conscious, thinking they are being watched by others, and at other times want to behave as if they were on a center stage and perform for a non-existent audience. For example, acting like a music idol, singing their favorite songs in their room with all the accompanying dance steps. Adolescents live in their private world where they may think they are invincible, cannot be hurt. However, this could also be because at their age, they have not had to deal with many deaths, and the mortality of the human spirit is not a reality yet. This is all part of the complex process of becoming a separate and unique individual. So unfortunately, these beliefs can lead them to believe that no one can understand them or know how they are feeling. Adolescents are now able to analyze situations logically in terms of cause and effect and entertain hypothetical situations and entertain what-if possibilities about the world. This higher level thinking allows them to think about the future, evaluate alternatives, and set personal goals. Although there are marked individual differences in cognitive development among teens, these new capacities allow adolescents to engage in the kind of introspection and mature decision-making that was previously beyond their cognitive ability. Adolescence is a time of rapid cognitive development. Biological changes in brain structure and connectivity in the brain interact with increased experience, knowledge, and changing social demands to produce rapid cognitive growth. These changes generally begin at puberty or shortly thereafter and some skills continue to develop as an adolescent ages. Development of executive functions that we talked about in the last assignment, or cognitive skills that enable the control and coordination of thoughts and behavior, are generally associated with the prefrontal cortex area of the brain. The thoughts, ideas, and concepts developed at this period of life greatly influences the child's future life and plays a major role in character and personality formation. So while their bodies are changing and growing, it is particularly important for teens and older adolescents to maintain a healthy lifestyle that includes a balanced, nutrient-rich diet with plenty of exercise and adequate restful sleep. Maintaining this healthy balance helps to prevent medical problems such as obesity and diabetes, and protects mental health by creating a healthy and confident self-image. So if you look at the slide, you'll see at the top the storms and stress of adolescence. So storm and stress was a phrase coined by psychologist G. Stanley Hall to refer to the period of adolescence as a time of turmoil and difficulty. The concept of storm and stress is comprised of three key elements: conflict with parents and authority figures, mood disruptions, and risky behavior. Conflict with parents and other authority figures comes about as adolescents begin to question or even directly go against the wisdom of elders. Adolescents tend to be more emotionally volatile and experience more frequent mood swings as they undergo changes that come with puberty. They also tend to engage in more risky behaviors that may cause harm to themselves and others, ranging from experimenting with cigarettes, alcohol, or drugs, or criminal activity. Though not all adolescents experience storm and stress as described by Hall, it is generally accepted that it is more likely to happen during the period of adolescence than at any other time in life. So psychological changes, the psychological challenges that the adolescents may cope with are moving from childhood to adulthood. A new person is emerging where rules will change, maybe more responsibilities will be placed on them, so that a certain standard of behavior is now required to be maintained. Accountability is becoming an expectation, usually from both parents and caregivers and legal, the society. So as adolescents continue their journey of self-discovery, they continually must adjust to new experiences, as well as the other changes happening to them biologically and socially. This can be both stressful and anxiety-provoking. It is therefore not surprising that adolescents can have a decreased tolerance to change. Hence, it becomes increasingly more difficult for them to modulate their behaviors, which are sometimes displayed by inappropriate mood swings and angry outbursts. So let's go on to the next slide and look at self-esteem and self-efficacy in adolescence. And a lot of this information applies throughout the lifespan. So we all have a sense of self. Whether that sense of self is positive or negative is based upon our experiences in life and our perceptions and assessment of ourselves. The problem is that our perception of ourselves is also distorted. Previous experiences can distort this perception. For instance, a person growing up in a perfectionist family may view himself or herself as always falling short of the expectation of the family. As a result, no matter how successful he or she might think they are, they think of themselves as a failure. Or a boy who is constantly being picked on by his older brother, being called stupid or dork, he may come to believe that these labels about himself. Unfortunately, people who believe certain labels will often live up or live down to those labels. The labels can create a self-fulfilling prophecy of expectation, so that they expect himself to be stupid and he never tries to prove otherwise. So what is a self-concept? The self-concept is a factual description of how you perceive yourself. If your perception is distorted, this description may not be as accurate, but it is an accurate statement of what you believe about yourself. The self-concept is derived from self-esteem and self-efficacy. If a person has low self-esteem, the self-concept may be skewed in the direction of a negative description. Some aspects of the self-concept may be purely statements of fact, such as, I have a college education, or I don't dance, without any evaluation of whether it is good or bad. In fact, people with a good self-esteem and self-efficacy are often able to recognize the limitations without a judgment attached. For example, I don't have a good sense of direction can just be a statement of fact without feeling good or bad about it. So what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the regard or respect that a person has for oneself. A person with positive feelings regarding the self is said to have high self-esteem. However, self-esteem can refer to very specific areas as well as a general feeling about the self. For instance, a person may have low self-esteem regarding physical attractiveness and high self-esteem about the ability to do a job or a task well. And self-esteem and self-concept begin from day one. Toddlers have self-concepts, have self-esteem. Infants, children of all ages have a self-concept and a self-esteem. So what is self-efficacy? Self-efficacy is a person's belief in their ability to accomplish some specific goals or tasks. It generally corresponds to the level of competence an individual feels. Competence can vary from one situation to another. For instance, a person might feel quite capable competing in a particular sport, but may not feel competent speaking in front of a group. As a result, overall self-efficacy may not be completely accurate, as it is assessing an individual's general feeling of competence across a variety of situations or tasks. Not surprisingly, teachers and child care centers play a major role in determining a child's sense of self-worth and dignity. One of the most precious gifts we can give adolescents and all children is to help them develop their self-esteem, their self-efficacy, and their self-concept. Every child is unique, but sometimes even teachers who embrace that idea may still treat children as if they were a homogeneous group. When children are in a learning environment where everyone is treated the same in the name of fairness, it can have a powerfully negative impact on self-esteem. Children whose needs are not being met may begin to feel that they are not welcome, or that they are disappointing the teacher or not living up to expectations. So what is the solution? Establish realistic expectations, goals, and accommodations that respond to the unique strengths and needs of each child and help them succeed, and address the issue of fairness upfront so there's no resentment of children who receive modifications and accommodations based on their individual education plans. Embracing the individuality of every child, providing accommodations when necessary, and explicitly addressing the issue of fairness will help create a learning environment that naturally fosters self-esteem and resilience. You will be able to meet each child's needs without upsetting other children. You will also find an increase in a child's sense of ownership. So it is tempting to solve children's problems by telling them what to do, but it is even better to give them opportunities to solve problems by themselves. When children believe they have some degree of control over their lives, that can be a very big boost to their self-esteem and resilience. Encouraging children to solve problems on their own does not mean you should not offer guidance or intervene in a true crisis, but often solutions devised by children themselves are more successful than those handed down by adults. Actively involving children helps them feel in control and reinforces their sense of ownership and empowerment, improvement, important ingredients in resilience and self-esteem. So how do you promote self-advocacy skills? You can help young children start building the foundation for self-advocacy. And the earlier you do, the sooner they'll be able to speak up on behalf of themselves. So here are some things that you can do. Let's go on to the next slide. So what can you do to help a child improve their self-efficacy, their self-esteem, and their self-concept. You want to give kids the language for asking. Kids may not know the words to say when they want or need something, but you can help them build that vocabulary by teaching them how to ask. So kids can learn to express why they're asking instead of just saying, "Can I have that?" They can say, "Can I please use that block? I need it for my building." That extra layer communicates needs in a situation, not just desires. Let kids do things on their own. It's tempting to jump in and help kids. I mean, you're probably hearing this in quite a few of my lectures. Let kids own their solutions, their problems, their tasks. It's tempting to jump in and help kids when they appear to be struggling with something, but it's important to step back sometimes so they can build skills. Of course, you wouldn't step back if there's a serious issue or there's a risk of of a child getting hurt. The more competent they are at doing something, and the more confident they'll feel about their abilities. For example, a child might might ask you to help them put on their jacket, even if if it's not necessary. It's just easier that you help. You can show the child how to do things independently while still being able to ask for help if it's really needed. So this is an opportunity to scaffold the child. So you can help a little bit so that they don't feel frustrated or feel anxiety, but get them to do as many activities and tasks that they can. Sometimes parents think that they are helping the child by brushing their teeth for them. Again, we want children to be independent. So let them do what they can, and slowly over time, develop the skills, give them more responsibility. So eventually they are doing the task independently and building their own self-efficacy. So give kids responsibilities. Having structures in place can help build self-advocacy. When kids are given tasks that they're able to complete, it builds their self-esteem. For example, giving kids their own space in the childcare center teaches them where to put their things when they walk in the door. You can also ask them to tidy up their areas and put items away. Role play difficult encounters. Kids need to know what to do if they're being teased. They need to know what to do if someone is not being kind to them. Kids with learning and thinking differences are also often the targets of bullying. Without having strategies to stick up for themselves, they may respond by bursting into tears, or they may hold it in and not tell anybody that they're being picked on. Role playing difficult situations with kids can give them strategies that are empowering. It gives them language that they can use on the spot. It can also show them that speaking up when bad things are happening is another way to get help when they need it. Give kids real-world opportunities to practice. Learning to self-advocate takes time, especially at a very young age. Be prepared to help kids with the language of asking for what they need for as long as it takes until they start doing it on their own. Provide positive feedback and encouragement. When you communicate genuine, realistic appreciation and encouragement, it is a powerful way to nurture self-esteem and resilience. Too often, though, the focus falls on children's negative behaviors, and their positive gifts, qualities, and strengths are not sufficiently nurtured or recognized. Emotional support and encouragement are simple and highly effective ways to promote children's self-esteem and resilience. Make a consistent effort to focus more on a child's positive than their negatives, and back that up with words and actions of support. They do not have to be grand gestures. Just writing a little note on a child's paper praising his or her efforts can increase their motivation and sense of self-worth. These small encouragements are especially crucial for at-risk children or learners with disabilities who may feel discouraged when their progress is slow. So if you look at this slide, there's a lot of ways that you can increase self-esteem. And as I've mentioned in previous lectures, Books are a great way to do this. And ways to boost a child's self-esteem. So this is for a parent, but this also applies for teachers. So give the child undivided attention. So when they're talking, listen, look in their eyes, model what it looks like to be fully present when someone speaks. Ditch the praise, number 2. We want children to be intrinsically motivated. We don't want to say good girl or good boy. Instead, we want to say, oh, I see that you have created a dinosaur out of Lego. Tell me about the dinosaur that you created. Why did you use these types of blocks? Why did you use all orange or yellow blocks? So there's lots of ways to ditch the praise and develop a relationship with a child. Number 3, let them make decisions. We've talked about this probably ad nauseum now. 4, avoid labels. It's really important that we don't label children as good or bad. Don't make them feel that way, because unfortunately they will live up to their negative label. Give them chores, give them tasks, let them show you that they can do things. They should be obviously age appropriate and developmentally appropriate, and let them shine. Avoid criticism, number 6. Don't name call or use sarcasm. Kids don't understand sarcasm. Sarcasm is the lowest form of communication. Your words become their inner voice. Number 7, don't rescue them unless it's obviously something very serious. Let them figure out a solution to their problems. Avoid comparisons. Don't say, oh, look, Teresa, look at how Amin is completing this task. You couldn't do it. Oh, look at how he's doing it. That does not help anyone. Each child develops at their own rate, in their own time. Encourage their hobbies. So number 9, get to know what interests each child. Once you know what interests them, you can develop lessons, you can create centers, you can encourage a variety of thinking and learning tasks within that hobby. And most importantly, 10, be a role model. Don't criticize yourself in front of the child. Show them what healthy self-esteem looks like. So kids who feel good about themselves have the confidence to try new things. They're more likely to try their best. They feel proud of what they can do. Self-esteem helps kids cope with mistakes. It helps them try again, even if they fail at first. As a result, self-esteem helps kids do better at school, at home, in the childcare center, and with their friends. Kids with low self-esteem feel unsure of themselves. If they think others won't accept them, they may not join in. They may let others treat them poorly. They may have a hard time standing up for themselves. They may give up easily or not try at all. Kids with low self-esteem find it hard to cope when they make a mistake, lose, or fail. As a result, they may not do well as they could. So as a teacher, as a role model and caring adult in a young child's life, we must do our part. So this concludes this course, as well as this concludes this final pre-recorded lecture. I wish you all the best in all your endeavors moving forward. Have a wonderful week, everyone.